Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to SuppTalk Radio. We appreciate you chiming in. I do want to give a quick public service announcement. If you have kids in the vicinity, you might not want to have this show aired loudly. Put on your headphones, just lock them in another room. But as always, I am honored returning back from the Ukraine, one of my best, closest friends, Robik Samborsky. Robik, welcome back, my friend. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for having me, Sean. Really appreciate it, and I'm glad to be with you on the first, I guess, podcast since returning.
I am honored, touched. I mean, if I could, I'd give you a big virtual hug, my friend.
Hockey's accepted and reciprocated.
So let's jump into Ukraine. Everyone's asking. I mean, how are you? How has this changed you? I mean, let's talk, my friend.
I mean, I guess it went as expected and not so much as expected, because I think that only once you get to a place like Ukraine is today, only then you can finally kind of like comprehend everything that is going on. So I knew where I'm going. I knew what I was expecting myself to see and to feel. But, as much as I talked about this and I posted numerous times about what's going on, um, even today, somebody told me that, there is a Russian propaganda going on, that people say that everything that, we see on TV is fake. I mean, maybe I'm not a celebrity, maybe I'm not as well known, and maybe as I should be, perhaps, considering that I wanted to convey the message as much as possible. But for those people that, that small circle of friends, people that know me, they know that I don't hold back, and I didn't hold back. I mean, I took photos, I took videos. I've seen things that fuck, I'm shaking. That I wish that I didn't have to see. But in a way, I am happy that I did see it, and I kind of like experienced the whole nightmare myself, and was able to tell, not maybe the world, because that would be a little bit maybe exaggerating, but at least those that know me, it was enough. Those hundreds or maybe thousands of people that do know me, to tell my story and to tell them what I experienced. And it's very, very important for people to understand. And once again, I said it numerous times, I do not hate Russians. I do not hate Russian people. um, I have many Russian friends, and I cherish those relationships. However, there are a few relationships that are no longer they don't longer exist. I had to lose some friends, and regrettably, of course. But unfortunately, sometimes in life you have to take a stance, and I admit that I was one of those numerous cowards that didn't want to publicly announce which side I'm taking. But both as a proud Ukrainian Jew, and as a human being, and somebody who is a father, and somebody who is, you know, who's always, I always pride myself on the fact that I tell the truth, no matter how good or bad it is. I had to take a stance, and I'm glad I did. And even if that cost me some friendships, maybe they were not real friendships in the first place, maybe even cost me some business, I think it's only small collateral damage, but at least my conscience is clear. And just for those that still kind of doubt, and if you do believe me, um, the war is real. The loss of human lives is real. The atrocities, the rapes, the murders of innocent civilians, all those are reals. And I experienced it firsthand, seeing those images that you see on TV or, on social media. It is true. And the sooner this nightmare ends, the better it is. And hopefully, I've seen a few idiots saying, well, it's not my problem because it doesn't happen here. I mean, you have to be a complete moron and heartless prick to say something like that.
So if it's okay, Robik, I'm going to go ahead and hack into your Instagram account here for a minute, because there's people
Sure,
that follow the show that are not on Instagram. So if you
sure.
don't mind, I'm going to share just a couple of quick pictures. If you want to
Go
give
ahead.
color, I mean, all for it.
Absolutely.
So obviously a cemetery. Any color you'd like to share on this? Hopefully people can see this.
Yeah, this is near my hometown where I was born. This is me basically visiting my grandfather and paying my respect, of course.
Beautiful wife and daughter. And then here we
Uh,
have a
there,
cemetery.
Yeah, this is a cemetery for fallen soldiers. I mean, you can see fresh graveyards. I mean, it's basically more and more on a daily basis fallen soldiers that are protecting their country, protecting their freedom. And yes, the loss of human life is absolutely incredible.
This is a beautiful shot.
Yeah, this is a synagogue where I had my bar mitzvah, and this is in my hometown. Mm, Obviously, very close to heart, and this was definitely a very very emotional visit. And Russians are accusing Ukrainians of being Nazis. Well, this is in a city, in the center of a city, and it's basically like a hallmark. It's been standing there. I'm not very good with history, but it's been around for about 200 or 300 years. And as you can see, it looks beautiful. In fact, the city, the township, they helped restore it, and they keeping it beautiful and protected. And the fact that you're a Jew or you speak Russian, nobody really cares. It's not what Russians are making it out to be, not even close.
Let's see here. It's obviously helping the cause.
Yep.
Well, let's see here. And here you are leaving.
Yeah, as I was leaving, it's actually ironically TJ from Fitness Deal News. He actually was the last one to call me and wish me, a safe trip. And I just want to say how much I appreciate TJ and everybody, including yourself, who was in touch with my daughter throughout the whole trip. Everybody who reached out. Maybe I didn't answer every question or I didn't answer every message because it just was not possible at all times. But I just want to tell everybody, especially the ones who are listening right now or will watch the show later on, that it didn't go unnoticed. I really, really appreciate it. And every message actually did count. It did mean something to me, just to see that somebody actually out there in the United States while I'm there in Ukraine cares. And, that definitely touched my heart. Each and every message. I can't thank you enough.
When you landed and started seeing some of the I'm going to say the horror and the tragedy, did you already prepare yourself for this, or is it like worse than you thought?
Well, when I crossed the border from Hungary to Ukraine, it was basically the region where I was born, western part of Ukraine. Up until then, there were absolutely no bombings or anything like that. At least they didn't reach. So the family that actually met me, it's a family who are friends with my childhood friend. They met me in Hungary, in Budapest, and they drove me across the border, which is about 3 hour drive. Once I crossed, it was very touching because I started sending messages to my family and friends here. They put on a song in Hebrew, which was very, very beautiful song. And I remember I was sitting in the back seat, but I was sitting on the back seat. There was a child next to me and another girl who was also coming from Budapest. And then the husband and wife, they were sitting in the front seat. So I remember when the song in Hebrew started playing, I remember turning away my face because I started crying. That was very very like touching. I don't know if they did it on purpose or to welcome me to Ukraine, or it was a coincidence. I really don't know. But I remember just seeing images of a place that I didn't visit for so many years, and then the song in Hebrew, and considering the accusations made by Russians, that it's a Nazi country, all that together definitely forced emotions out of me that I didn't expect, and I just remember hiding my face and trying wiping my tears, and it was very bittersweet moment.
When was the last time you were there?
About 12 years ago.
Oh wow. Okay. Do you still have any
Yeah,
family there left?
no, no family, but obviously, places that are very, very close to heart. My classmates, I mean, I left when I was in the sixth grade, I think. So some of my
Okay.
classmates are still there. So we kind of had a sort of reunion about 12 years ago. This time around, I only saw two female classmates of mine. Some of the men were already serving the country.
Hmm.
And even considering, we are older, 47, but they were doing what they were supposed to do. Um, so I didn't get to see everyone, just a few friends, and obviously, one of my childhood friends. He's about a year older than me, and he's doing a lot of humanitarian work. And when I was still in the United States prior to leaving, he already told me that he was inviting me to come to Kiev and the region that was really affected by the war. And I mean, I jumped on opportunity, just didn't tell nobody here.
So are you planning to go back again, or anything else on the future for you?
Put it this way, I felt guilty leaving. I felt
Okay.
guilty leaving because I think anyone who has a conscience, and especially if it's your country, leaving, going back to a safer place, I mean, sort of safer. I mean, go to New York City and it's not exactly safe, but still leaving, I definitely felt guilt. I think it's a normal feeling, but at the same time, yes, I will definitely go back. I can't say when, but I will definitely go back. Hopefully, by the time I go back, there's no more war. But I mean, never say never.
It's got to
I
be
definitely count on going back.
it's got to be tough, my friend, because obviously, like you said, you don't want to leave. You want to do more, but again, you've got a beautiful wife, a loving daughter that it's kind of here on the other side of the world. It's got to be tough.
It's tough because yeah, your heart is in both places. You have people that you love and you care about here in the United States, and you have obviously a conscience, and I don't know how to put it in perspective, but probably sort of guilt and sort of responsibility to do the right thing as well, and to balance what the right thing is very, very hard, and you're trying to do both, and it's not always very, very easy. There is no right and wrong. I'm not saying that everybody should go back to Ukraine who is a Ukrainian, who was born in
Sure.
Ukraine. I'm not going to say that because we all have to do what we believe in or what we want to do. So this is not a knock on anyone who is Ukrainian and didn't go there or didn't try to go there, because there are people who are helping in a different ways, whether it's sending money or supplies or humanitarian help, or just like I said before, they not. I know a couple of people who are from Ukraine, and if you go to their social media, you won't even notice that they actually Ukrainians because they just don't say
Yeah.
anything. They don't help, they don't voice their opinion. I mean, it's not a matter of opinion; it's a matter of fact. They don't say anything; they just act like complete cowards because they try to satisfy everybody. And whether it's for business reasons or just because they're scared, they choose not to say anything. That I do judge. That I don't agree with. You don't have to go there, but at least say no to war or say something. So you have family, you have friends, you have children, you have parents, and you were born there. And it's not a conflict, because people calling it a conflict are morons. It's not a conflict. It's real. It's one country invading another country. Period. It shouldn't happen in this world. So that country that that is the invader is wrong. Period.
Yep. Were you predominantly a safe zone, or were you hearing like bombs and stuff around you?
The western part of Ukraine, where I'm from, was safer actually until the last 24 hours when I was leaving. That's when the bombs
Okay.
started falling. So, I think, what, when a country is in a war, I don't think there is such thing as safe place. It doesn't
Yeah.
exist. I mean, plus the Russians have very interesting equipment because they clearly don't know either how to operate it, or it just fucking flies wherever it wants because it lands everywhere, whether it's in the field or it's in civilian building. It's just like it's all over the place. You literally don't know where it's going to get you.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting because the two other countries, and again, excuse me for not know the two other countries that are joining the UN. Now, I wonder if Putin's going to do anything to them. I'm drawing a blank on those other two. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, Finland and Sweden are trying to, they already applied to join NATO. I think everything that Putin did backfired because it happened exactly as he didn't plan. He thought that he's going to conquer Ukraine in 3 days. Well, that didn't work out. He wanted to disrupt NATO, but NATO actually got even more united, more than ever. So, his economy is absolutely in shit. So I don't think that was his plan. However, I would not predict anything because the person is obviously delusional, he is psychotic, and
Yeah.
you can't predict actions of a crazy person. So, if you ask me on February 23rd if he's going to bomb Ukraine, I would say you're out of your fucking mind. This is just, bully talk. It means nothing. But on February 24th, he did attack Ukraine. So I'm typically pretty good at predicting things like that. But you know what? One thing I didn't take into account, that the person is fucked in the head. I mean, that's the only explanation you can have.
Yeah.
So will he attack Finland? Common sense says no, because that would be stupid. But I'm not ruling anything out, including the use of nuclear weapons. I mean, you can't fucking again, that's the reason why I say, and I've seen even some people from the supplement industry saying, you know what, we shouldn't be helping Ukraine. You realize that this is USSR all over again, and
Yeah.
USSR was always a threat to the entire free world. This is not a threat to Ukraine. This is a threat to everybody. And if everybody doesn't come together and does something, to stop this from escalating, then it can be a matter of weeks, months, year, maybe days. I don't know where
Yeah.
we already in a war. You just, it's not really called, but it's a war.
So one of the questions I want to flash here that somebody sent in, it says the Ukraine situation is fucked, but how many billions of dollars should we really be sending?
Uh, it's not about how many billions of dollars should be sending. It's I think that's not the approach. I mean, look, I understand that nobody wants to give money. I don't want to give money. Your money belongs to you, and giving it to somebody else is, it's not a very pleasant thing to do. It's not something you want to do. I don't think it comes to billions of dollars. It comes to right now the fact that it's not American soldiers who are dying. It's not NATO soldiers who are dying. It's not even about soldiers. This is about civilians.
Yep.
Civilians, children. Yesterday, 1-year-old boy died because he was raped by Russian soldiers. So this is not about, nobody, Ukraine never once asked for another army to join in fight. All they did was, it's a small country that is just part of Putin's plan. What do you think is going to happen once or if he took over Ukraine? Do you really think he would stop? I mean, clearly he wouldn't. He already
Yep.
pretty much, he already invaded Moldova. He did invade Georgia. Well, not Georgia in the United States, obviously, but he already invaded Ukraine right now. This is a person who on live TV said that Russia should have no borders. He said it in a joking way, but it
Yep.
wasn't a joke, and he clearly tries to illustrate it. America sends thousands, millions, and billions of dollars to many countries, and sometimes for absolutely no reason, mainly just political or or business. This is a business of one small country protecting not only its borders and its land, but protecting the entire free world. Ukrainians are the only ones who are fighting this massive, massive, massive army, and then
Yep.
doing it very, very successfully. So if you help with weapons, if you help, defeat the Russians without sending an American troops in there, I think it's a win-win situation, because in reality, Ukrainians are doing all the dirty work. They the ones who are suffering. They the ones who are dying.
Yep.
Losing thousands and thousands of lives already been lost. So, if America or NATO countries can help fight the evil that is threatening not only Ukraine but the entire world, I think that it's no brainer. So it's not doesn't come down to how much money. It's about, what, when people are asking you for donations, right? Typically, what do they say? Help as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's asking you for specific money. Every dollar counts. If you can help, then help. If you can't help, then don't help. But it's not about the amount of money. And I think that the picture is kind of like a little bit distorted, and people are missing the bigger picture. This is
Yeah.
defending the entire world.
I agree. Our friend Simon was asking, where did you land in the EU?
I flew to Austria, to Vienna, from Vienna to Budapest, Hungary, and from there by car I crossed the border to Ukraine, and then coming back also to Budapest, and from Budapest to Germany, to Frankfurt, and from Frankfurt to the United States.
Okay. So do we want to put a bow in this, or anything else you'd like to talk about Ukraine, my friend?
The only thing I would like to say is that the war is real. Like I said before, massive loss of innocent civilians, massive threat to the world's stability, which has already been shattered. And, and we are, if you can help, if you want to help in any way, shape, or form, then do help. If you don't know something, just because you read something or, or suspect that, do your homework, have a look. Because right now we have basically, this is how Hitler started,
Yep.
and it cost millions of lives lost throughout Europe. Americans actually were involved in that war, but right now it's only the Ukrainians. You stop, you stop evil at its root. Don't let it expand. And
Yeah.
right now we can at least try. I'm not saying that we're going to succeed. I'm just saying that we can try, try and do everything, because at the end of the day, we have to look at our children. We have to look in the mirror. So, a billion sent to some fucked up country that is later on gonna, possibly harm United States, or send billions of dollars in weapons, maybe or humanitarian help, to help a country that is fighting, not only they fight, but fighting everybody's fight.
Yep. One of our close friends, Eric Schwartz. I can't imagine being there while this is going on. Much respect for you.
Thank you, Eric.
So speaking of quickly, I guess word on the street is Eric's doing some work for you guys.
That is correct, Eric. To be honest with you, Eric's been doing some work with us from day one of Apollon Nutrition. Eric is a very, very close friend of mine, and I remember asking for his advice and picking his brain literally from day one, almost pretty much day one, and Eric never said no to me. So the extent of what Eric does exactly and how he does it, I'm going to leave it up to Eric and the boss, because I'm afraid I'm going to get my ass kicked. So I'm going to say yes, Eric is definitely involved with Apollon Nutrition. I'm very, very grateful to Eric, and I think we are very, very lucky, unlike some other idiots, to have somebody, like Eric on our side. It's our gain and their loss. But when, we're talking about industry experts, sometimes we throw that word very, very sporadically everywhere. Oh, he's an industry expert. I mean, Ben Kane is now an industry expert, but come on, let's get real. But Eric is the real industry expert, and having him on our side, I think makes a very, very cool ally to Apollon Nutrition, and makes Apollon Nutrition even more, I would say, credible.
Because of you, him and I have created a very, very good friendship. We talk pretty much daily as well. And I'm not going to ruin his surprise, but he's got something pretty cool brewing in the background. But when the time is right, I'll let him kind of announce it. But Eric and I talked today, and I'm excited. Hopefully it'll work out well for him.
Oh, he's going to succeed in anything that Eric does. Like, put it this way, and I hope Eric doesn't mind me saying, Eric's been with 3 companies in the last couple of years. Obviously, Animal and Universal doesn't count, because that was Eric was, in my opinion, always the face of that company. The other 2 companies that have lost Eric, like I said, major, major, major fuck up, or to quote Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, big mistake, huge.
And chiming in, our good old friend from Poland, almost 3 million relocated in Poland. Hello, all. Give Ukrainians weapons. They are already winning. So with extra support, they will whoop Putin's ass.
How can you argue with Lucas? I mean, he's right. He put it better than I would. Hey, Lucas. Lucas is right. Poland is probably one of the 2 most beloved countries in Ukraine. I mean, from what I heard, Ukrainians are literally worshiping Polish people for what they've done. They really, really, really they really stepped up. They stepped up. Poland and Ukraine always been friendly countries, friendly neighbors. But what Polish people are doing, and it's not the Polish government. I mean, Polish government, of course, too. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's actually Polish people. Just people that I know. I'm friends with my friend Agata, who is a friend of mine on Facebook. She's Polish. Obviously, Lucas is a dear friend of mine. Those are civilians. Those are civilians that really, really, really care. Lucas was checking on me when I was in Ukraine. Lucas says there is shitload of Ukrainians in Poland, but he doesn't say it. But I mean, Poland is a fucking tiny country. Mm-hmm. And no matter how many millions, we're talking not thousands, millions of Ukrainians are invading Poland, they welcoming them with open arms, letting them stay in their houses, sharing food with them and everything else. That just shows what kind of people they are. Not just a person, the whole nation. Poland stepped up in a way that touched everybody's heart. And, Poland is a tiny country. And if Putin attacks, it's not going to be very good. But Poland basically fucking went, fuck you, Putin, we're gonna do the right thing. And, they just like fucking helped, and they keep helping. And, Lucas is right. Help with weapons because they need help. They're not
Yeah.
asking for a handout. They're not asking send the troops, fight for us. They actually, they asking to help.
Now with Lucas, if they get involved, he'll give everybody guns and scoops of hooligan. He says, "Give me one more week and I'll be fluent in Ukrainian."
He's not kidding.
Other big events. So, how was Aries yesterday? The Aries event in Jersey.
Oh, Patrick is phenomenal. I mean, that guy, he puts up these great events. He doesn't he's not cheap. He's investing in his brand. And I mean, he only had one store like 2 years ago or something like that. He is about to open his fourth one. Every store is in immaculate condition. It's beautiful inside. He puts top dollar into making sure that his stores look beautiful. Um, he always brings like top professionals, obviously, flying them, paying them for appearance. It can be cheap, clothing line. I mean, you name it, he has it. He carries very, very good and not cheap brands. He
Yep.
carries like he definitely knows his supplements. And, as a brand owner, I can see him dealing with Carolina. That guy, he he will place an order and he will go like, charge my credit card. He pays immediately. You don't have to chase him down. Some of the brand owners, they know how difficult it is sometimes. Patrick is just like, does everything by the book. He brings top professionals. He makes sure to put out great events. He's not cheap. And I pretty much, as he had more people yesterday at his little expo. I was earlier that day at the New York Pro for prejudging. He destroyed New York Pro. He destroyed New York Pro. He went basically head to head against New York Pro. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a calculated move. He probably just, miscalculated dates. But he had more people under the sun, and yesterday was almost 100 degrees. He had more people at his event. I was there in the afternoon. He started at 11 o'clock, but prejudging at the New York Pro started at 8.
Yep.
Typically, New York Pro is packed. Patrick destroyed them. I mean, in terms of attendance, and great job. I mean, I can't say more about it. I met also with for the first time with Brad, the owner of Ninja Up.
Yeah, he told me.
What a fucking great guy.
Yeah.
What an amazing guy. I mean, I really enjoyed our conversation. Great guy, great company. Can't say, enough good things about him. Met up with Jeff Long of Like a Pro, another guy who were, we had a little bit of we had our differences, but, when we found out, it actually had nothing to do with us. But, as expected, somebody contributed to that rift, but we talked it out, and ever since, Jeff and I, we get along. I respect his brand, and I'll tell you, I mean, one of the things that I haven't mentioned, just before I left for Ukraine, Jeff Long actually offered to help with anything that Apollon needs, to step up and just need and if Carolina needs anything, in terms of ingredients or something like that, he's there. So I can't thank him enough.
So I know you've been in the business for a while. You've seen some huge bodybuilders. Did you get a chance to see Nick Walker? Was that guy a freak, or was it just another large bodybuilder?
Well, Nick Walker used to often train at Apollon. He would stop by, when just before he even got a pro card. I think after he got a pro card, he trained a couple of times. He is from New Jersey. We chatted on numerous occasions. I wouldn't say that we are friends. We don't hang out or anything like that, but we texted each other on occasion. We met each other on occasion. He was at Apollon a few times. Listen, the guy is, to me personally, Nick's always been nothing but respectful. I can't say anything bad about him. One thing that I can point out is the fact that the guy loves bodybuilding. He lives bodybuilding. He's very passionate about bodybuilding. And to be honest with you, I'm hardly surprised by his achievements, because that was to be expected. I've seen some comments here and there about Nick, but most of it comes from either jealousy or hate. Unfortunately, that is present in our industry everywhere. That side, the ugly side of business. But he's very good friends with Patrick. But all I can say is that to me, Nick is a good guy, and I wish him all the success, and I think he deserves it.
That was interesting because I was watching some of the feed with him and Jay standing side by side, and obviously Jay is respectfully a shell of of a man, but it's like former Mr. Olympia and possible future Mr. Olympia standing side by side.
Yeah. Okay, Jay is a class act. I mean, every time I see him, he's probably one of the best, if not the best, when it comes to, like, interacting with the audience and with fans. And he's a real professional in every, because today to get a pro card, it's not as challenging as it used to be 10, 15 years ago. You have so
Yeah,
many pros. Every gym has a pro these days. But back 10, 15, 20 years ago, to get a pro card was close to impossible. It was more like a
yeah,
dream. But you see, the thing is, I think that a lot of people are missing the point. It's not only about being professional on stage, it's about being professional off the stage. And I
yeah.
think that very, very few can come close to Jay Cutler when it comes to carrying himself as a true professional on and off the stage. And, seeing him now being retired, but so involved, his supplement line being so successful, him interacting with the audience the way he does and treating the fans he does, I think a lot of current pros could learn, a thing or two from him. And Guy Cisterino was there also. He's a good friend of mine. And that's another example. Guy has retired from bodybuilding, but he's still absolutely amazing with fans, still very much in demand when it comes to appearances, and he knows how to treat, his fans.
I didn't recognize him without the beard yesterday. I had the second guess or second glance on the videos with Guy shaving his beard off. I don't know if that was new or if he's not had it in a while.
As far as I know, he used to shave his beard when he used to compete. He
Okay.
would shave his beard. It was kind of like a thing. He looks kind of small. He looks like a figure competitor. That's what I said yesterday. But I just bust his chops. Guy is a great person, and again, also just like Nick, he loves the industry. He still travels all the time. He still gives so much. And one of the people who reached out to me constantly when I was in Ukraine, constantly. I mean,
Okay.
I can't say enough good things about Guy Cisterino. Like I said, once you go away to a place like Ukraine, or you're disconnected from your world, and you're either in danger or in a certain situation, only then you can appreciate the real, true friends in your life. And
Yep.
I'm glad to say that Guy is definitely one of those people.
He reminds me very close to you. He's very kind and humble to everybody, but he also does not hold back speaking his mind. So that's why you got to respect him.
Well, that's the reason why we clashed so many times. I mean, Guy and I had more fights than with anyone. I mean, there was a time we wouldn't even speak to each other, and I wanted to absolutely rip him apart. But that's, I guess, the similarities that we have. We both speak our minds, and we don't hold back. And sometimes you can clash, but in a true concept of true friendship, it doesn't. It doesn't That's what makes friends. We can have a
Yeah.
fight, we can have an argument, but the next day we're like, I just said the same thing about me and Lucas. There were a few times where we disagreed on the final scoop, and it got even heated at times. But right after the show, we would text each other, bust each other's chops, and laugh. And what even we would talk about it. Argument? What argument? We didn't have any argument. That's what
Yep.
makes friends friends. I mean, that's you can have a brother, you can have a family member or a real friend for years without having an argument. It's just not
Yep.
possible. It's how you overcome those differences. That's what makes it real. There are some people that I had good relationship with, decent, and then we would just fall off without even having a fight. It can happen. And then there are people like, Lucas, we can be on the final scoop or something like that and probably disagree on certain things. But then in our private, conversation, we don't even talk about it, just like I said, because it
Yeah.
doesn't affect our friendship. There is friendship, and there is a matter of opinion, and there is a disagreement. If you cannot overcome your disagreement with your friend, that's really not your friend, because come on, seriously, I have friends that support different soccer team than I do, and I'm a huge soccer fanatic, but that doesn't come between us. It just doesn't matter. It's small shit.
It's like I always tell everybody, you know what? You're an adult. I'm an adult. I might not respect your political beliefs, anything whatsoever. But at the
That's
end of
fine.
the day, you have your voice. I have mine. and we're still friends no matter what it is. It's
Yeah,
part of being an adult.
absolutely, absolutely.
Speaking of Final Scoop, are you coming back, or is it just schedules clashing with everybody, or what's the latest on that?
Ooh. uh, I when I was on the Final Scoop, the last episode that I was present, I did say that I'm going to be gone for about 2 or 3 weeks. I said it live because I was going away for 2 3 weeks. Uh, Robert had some schedule issues, I guess, conflicts. He did say, coincidentally, a few days later, because we have this group chat, that he's not going to be able to make it for a few Saturdays, I guess, or something like that, offering
Right.
to maybe reschedule or whatnot. Obviously, I was preoccupied with other things. So that thing just didn't pan out, and they didn't do the shows for those couple of weeks. I mean, they did a show yesterday, but I was busy with the New York Pro and with Aris Nutrition, so I couldn't make it. Um, right now, I don't know if they're doing it next Saturday or rescheduling for another day again. I don't
Right.
know. I don't know how my schedule is, because the first couple of days or a week I was not really active with Apollon Nutrition as well, because I needed just some time after Ukraine kind of to be left alone, so to speak. I only eased into my work the last few days, and obviously I'm very, very overwhelmed. I do enjoy doing a podcast. I do enjoy interacting with people. I do enjoy, you know, um, having conversation. Um, the final scoop, I mean, I like to have, to be honest, I like to have a little bit more consistency, especially when you have four people. And I think if, one or two cannot make it, I still think the show must go on. And I think,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's not fair to the audience when you just don't go on air. And I know Lucas is very, very passionate about it. And because he always posts and he always advertises and promotes the final scoop. And I love that about him. Right now, I honestly, it's been probably about 3 4 weeks since I haven't been on the final scoop, and I didn't say that I'm quitting or anything like that. I think that it's just kind of like a matter of schedule difficulties, and
Yeah.
I would like to discuss. But to be honest with you, it's also, once you come from a place like Ukraine, and once you see everything, you see the way you see. I think that it's very, very important to kind of to establish, like you doing interviews pretty much with various guests. By the way, I watched one with Joey from Blackstone, and
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It was very, very good. In fact, I sent Joey a message saying it was a great, it was a great interview.
Thank you.
Uh, no, it was phenomenal. But you have your concept, you have like how you do things. I feel like we were doing interviews, then we stopped doing interviews.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like there should be a little bit more consistency. And just being honest, I feel like that consistency has been lost a little bit.
Right.
So the future of the final scoop, I mean, I know that I would like to continue, but I would like probably to discuss it more, because don't forget, it's a Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern time. It's in the middle of the day. Uh,
Yeah.
we all have things to do. I, of course, can speak only for myself. I can spend time with friends. I can spend time with family. I can spend time working. I can spend time training. There are so many things, because we're talking not just the 2 hours that the show goes on. There's obviously an hour before that you have to be ready, because you
Yeah.
have to be on time. And then usually we would stay and talk for a couple of minutes, sometimes longer. So it's about 4 hours can be out of your day in the middle of the day. So if I'm doing that, I would like some kind of structure, and I want structure in everything I do, including Apollon Nutrition. I think 2020 was a shit show for Apollon Nutrition, even though we kind of exploded. But at the
Yep.
same time, there was no consistency. Products were released all over the place. There was no structure. The company grew, but we were like pulling in different directions. We had no meetings. We had no structure. We just kind of like we rolled with it. I think it's wrong. 2021 there was more consistency, and I think 2022 we even more consistent than 2021. I think we even more organized. I was away for about a month from Apollon Nutrition. You wouldn't even notice. It's either because I'm completely irrelevant, or and they're doing probably better without me, or just because we have a structure. So I would love to have a structure. I'll be honest with you. I haven't even talked to Robert one-on-one ever since I left.
Wow. Okay.
We didn't have one conversation. Um, I'm a little bit surprised by that, but like I said, I haven't talked to him once. I interacted with Lucas, I interacted with Shane, but it's the final scoop is under the supplement engineer banner, and
Mm-hmm.
we haven't talked once. And even and as you can see, my first podcast, my first interview is done with you, not the supplement engineer. And don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining or anything like that. Just
Yeah.
being transparent. I would like to have structure. I would like to have, like Lucas is very, very by the book. Shane is different, and it should be understood. And he has a family. They're right now on the road. It's not very
Mm-hmm.
possible for him to always join, and he's very upfront about it. And it's not easy. He also has a child. On weekends sometimes they travel, so it's understood. But I like Lucas's approach. I like the fact how consistent he is. I mean, you can even see by his Facebook how he posts for Prometheus. If I call Lucas or I send him a text message and I want to talk to him, he will tell me, like, listen, I'm busy right now because I'm doing certain work, but I'll call you in 45 minutes. I assure you, Lucas will call me in 45 minutes. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm very impressed by that. I'm very, very impressed by that, because that's how I like it. I like it myself. I mean, I'm not even close to his level when it comes to consistency, but I'm not. I mean, I'm honest. I'm constantly late and stuff like that. But I aspire to be like him in that perspective. I would
He's
love
a
to
freaking
do it,
dynamo.
and I would like to have the same structure with the final scoop. And I hope we can get to that, and we can discuss it and continue. But in all honesty, I've been talking about doing a podcast myself, um,
Like,
in a different probably structure, more like kind of like you, with interviews and having guests and talking about various subjects. I'm a movie buff. I like fights. I like things like that. So I would like not just the supplements. I'm not trying to compete with anyone or steal
yeah.
anyone's audience. Kind of my own thing, and I am thinking about it right now more than ever. But that does not take away the fact that I would not love to do the final scoop been done right, or coming in and doing a show with you, because I do
Mm-hmm.
enjoy our interactions and our conversations. So at this point, I will say I'm open-minded, but we'll see.
Now you realize your DMs on Instagram are gonna start blowing up saying, "Robik, do it, do it, do it, do it."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's fine, and I want to do it. I want to do it. I mean, the fact that people have been suggesting it, asking it. Jose, who is he works. He's our sales director, but he's also a close friend. He's been on my case for now, God knows how long. About doing it, and I want to. I'm more comfortable in front of the camera as opposed to how it used to be before. And it's actually very easy, because all you have to do is basically speak your mind. You don't have to sugarcoat, you don't have to pretend. It's when acting is required and when you have to be a clown, I think that's a little bit more challenging, but this is easy.
Did this? I know you brought it up earlier. You went to the New York Pro. Did you have anybody else besides Brian in the show?
No, Brian was the only athlete representing Apollon
Okay.
Nutrition competing, and he placed in the top 10. Obviously I thought, and maybe being biased, but I mean, you've seen the pictures and you've seen what he looked like,
Yeah.
and you can compare him to other competitors. So we thought that he should have placed a lot higher. But again, we know bodybuilding, we know how it works. It's pretty much, we all know what's going on and how it's going on. So it is what it is. The only thing we can do is try and bring Brian the best Brian that Brian can be, and
Yeah.
hope for the best. I mean, that's pretty much it.
I keep kidding around with him on Instagram. He looks like he has no freaking waist. I mean, he looks like he has like a 22-inch waist. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he is definitely. I mean, we did a shot of back double bicep with him. And even though in physique they don't do it, and I said, like, listen, your back looks like mini Ronnie Coleman. It's just an incredible back double bicep. And the guy is still a rookie. He only got his pro card before the pandemic.
Yeah.
In literally 3 months and 3 shows, he got his pro card, and he's already done what, 3 shows, and every time it's either top 10 or top 5 in a very competitive field. So clearly, he's getting noticed, and I couldn't be happier for him because he's such a good guy with such an amazing physique.
And even when he diets down, it's going to sound like I don't have infatuation, Brian, if you're listening. But even when he diets down, he's got this big barrel chest, which is like when people diet, you lose a lot of your chest, but it's still so. I mean, his whole body is full.
Yeah, he is. Like I said, I mean, I don't want to take away anything from his, from his work, because the guy works very, very hard. But his genetics, his waistline are just fucking amazing.
Yeah. So let's jump into. I got a lot of questions here. All sorts of. Are you running more products this year? Any ideas? Can you share anything that's coming out, or kind of how many coming out?
That's a good question because I don't know how many coming out, but we're trying to release a new product and flavors on a monthly basis. And so far from January, we've been successful doing so. We're announcing Universal Soldier, I think, tomorrow. That's a new product. And then, after that, it's going to be more and more every month, new flavors, new products. So it's going to be nonstop. Obviously, I've been saying it for a while sometimes, and I do apologize for the delays, but the sleep formula is definitely, it's already a done formula, just so much in between that we're having difficulties, and we're adding more flavors to Lionheart, more flavors to Over the Top. Chaos is going to be redone. Shogun is going to be redone. Assassin redone probably at the end of the year, maybe. There's going to be a couple of surprises that I can't really share because I know I'm being watched by my friendly competitors, so let them release it after I release. But yeah, there's gonna be consistency. Shane taught me one thing, and it's about the brand being consistent, and that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to do.
Are you gunning for? So someone else asked, are you gunning for 2022 brand of the year?
You know what? I promise Shane that I'm not going to, and that I'm not gonna do anything about, that I'm not gonna try and compete like I did aggressively in 2021. Shane called me a liar, and he probably was right. So I think we kind of have no competition so far. At least if we are talking into account, up until this point, I don't think, and nobody released as many products and hasn't made such impact. But at the end of the day, the ones that count, are the ones that we won, and that is obviously Stacked. Stacked award of Brand of the Year is probably the Oscar of this industry. So that would be nice, but the decision is up to Shane and Nikki. It's not, I don't think, and I think Shane proved it that he's going to do it his way, and I respect that. I mean, obviously, that's something very, very different, and if it's by vote, the beautiful thing is that it's not corrupted, but the downside of it, you know, it's still a popularity kind of contest, like Shane does the protein
Yeah.
awards, so you're not guaranteed. Would be nice, but again, it's out of my hands. So it's the same thing as, and obviously, Review Brothers, that was the first award that they've given, so obviously, I'm honored with that. But I think that we accomplished everything that we wanted to accomplish in 2021. We put Apollon firmly on the map, and we don't plan to leave that map anytime soon. And the rest is the words that make a difference. Obviously, again, Stacked. I respect your work tremendously. Would love to get it a second time, but it's beyond my control. And the only thing that we can control is getting the brand better and better and better. And that's about all we can do.
So I'm going to grab the floor here for a minute because somebody actually sent me, did they miss the other award winners? So for people that are not familiar, I had my own award show this year. And as you know, Robik, you had won both the Brand of the Year and the People's Choice Award. There was also a Product of the Year and a Pre-Workout of the Year. Okay, and again, for people watching this was voted on by other brand owners. Okay, so respect keeping it neutral throughout the industry. So the Product of the Year winner will be coming up. He's been traveling, so I'm not going to let it out, but we're going to do a podcast. Let's just say he's living the lifestyle right now. Okay, and for people asking, there was also a Pre-Workout of the Year. Now, unfortunately, the pre-workout company of the year has blown me off 3 different freaking times. I've already spoken with him. So basically, he can take the award. As The Rock would say, shine it up, stick it up his ass. He's too busy worrying about gaining his TikTok followers and playing with his new Instagram boy toy. I'm going to leave it at that. So, not that it means much, but for second place, it was you and Glaxon for pre-workout of the year. So, anyway, as I say to the other brand, if you're watching this, thank you, fuck you, goodbye. Off my chest.
And I'm the bad guy. Seriously, David and Ari, fucking get a room already.
I know. Let me bring.
They
Let me bring up. Okay,
they
so
two great
seriously,
guys. I really respect them. They fantastic. Both David and Ari are just two amazing human beings. I just like busting their chops.
so just said, love listening to Robik speak from the heart. Here to give my love and support to my brother.
Thank you, Ari. Thank you so much. What an incredible guy. Just heart of gold.
And then Chris is asking, is Universal Soldier going to be soldier focused? Which is a very interesting question.
I mean, it's pretty much already out there, so I might as well say what it is because it doesn't really matter. I mean, a lot of people, it might as well being here live. I mean, it's an overtime version, so it's more of a gaming product. It's
Really?
yeah, it's more of a gaming, but I mean, of course I'm going to be biased, but I think considering that how we do formulas, that the formula is going to be badass. It's a gaming product. It's a milder. I don't want to say it's a milder version over overtime. It probably falls under the same umbrella of nootropics, but it's just a completely different spin. I would say if Assassin and Hooligan are, maybe Hooligan is not a best example, but maybe Assassin and say Bare Knuckle, they both pre-workouts, but they completely different. I mean, there's just nothing really in common. They're different. So I would say that Overtime and Universal Soldier fall on the same nootropic umbrella, but they completely different. I mean, tomorrow Shane will put up the supplement facts, and so we will. Also, will we? And I'll send it to you, Sean, so you can have a look. So it's going to be announced tomorrow, but it's just. I mean, a soldier could take it for sure.
I'm happy for you because gaming category is growing exponentially. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there was something that we had planned for quite some time. I wasn't sure if it's Apollon style or not, but then again, resistance, liver lover, blood sport that has no stamps, Lionheart that has very mild stimulation. None of these were Apollon style maybe 3 years ago, but right now I think it's so diverse that I don't think, as long as it's a good product, it's all that matters. As long as it's well dosed, and as long as it has ingredients that actually proven to work, I think that it falls as a Apollon product. Why not?
Sure, playing the game. Everybody else has got it. You might as well join it as well.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, I'm proud of the formula. You'll see it tomorrow. And, I'm not one of those guys who's going to say, oh, you know what, it's a game-changing product or anything like that. You'll see the supplement facts. You'll see review. I know TJ, I think, is going to do a review in a few days. You'll see the reviews. You'll see the product, and that will, I mean, you already know what to expect from us. I think that the brand earn that trust from the consumers and from peers and real friends, that we don't have to kind of like go overboard and hype up the product. I think most of our products, they hype themselves, and I think that's what matters.
Here's a question I don't know if I've ever asked you. At what point, as Apollon Nutrition, obviously you started out just kind of tapping the market. At what point did you finally say to yourself, well, shit, I've got something here, let's run with it, versus just being kind of a house brand?
I think I noticed that we got something after about 3 months of starting the brand, because it was intended only for Apollon Gym. And then when I started noticing, we had this gym fitness center across the street from Apollon. And when I saw that crowd, that was completely different crowd from Apollon Gym crowd. When I saw them stopping by and getting our products, at Apollon, like literally not joining the gym, but just buying the products that are more expensive than your conventional products that gym was selling.
Yeah.
I think they were selling Dymatize, NutraBio. I think they were selling some other brands as well. Not bad brands, just different from what we do.
Yeah.
When I saw that they're stopping by to buy specifically our products, I was like, hold on, maybe this is not just for hardcore guys. Maybe this is not just for a Apollon crowd. Maybe there is more to it. That's when we started talking about maybe there is something to it. Then we kind of like, we were getting better and better every year. But until, and I have to give props again to TJ, until TJ reviewed, because I think he reviewed Assassin first, not even Hooligan. I think he reviewed Assassin first. Assassin had such a very cult following
Yep.
that, people loved it. There were those that didn't like it. I didn't like it that much, to be honest. And there were those that were judging it just because it's a loaded formula, but they judged it unfairly.
Hmm.
They were using science that was not there. They were using arguments that were unjustified. They were attacking me for absolutely no reason. So I think when TJ did the review, and it's the brand started to get kind of a little bit more attention. And then we always had the 50-50 Formula X, the protein. And when people tried that, we're like, whoa, isolate and casein. And we
Yeah.
presented them with actual studies that this is not inferior to just isolate. This is possibly superior to just isolate. When people started looking into it and they tried it, like, okay, Assassin tastes like shit, but this protein actually tastes very, very, very good. So, maybe. And I think that that's when we started to see things, but to get a little bit more creative in terms of like making not just the badass hardcore stemmed up fucking products, because I do feel like we are the pioneers of that. I mean, you could say that Jack 3D and and Mesomorph, those products were there with DMA, but they had a sprinkle of DMA. It was just very, very potent DMA, and those products worked. But what we did, we actually started like blasting these fully loaded supplement facts that I think you see today, not just with Apollon, but with numerous brands. And I think I can rightfully take the credit for it, that we kind of paved the way for it. But there is more to it, obviously. You can't release just everything with 600 milligram of caffeine. There are people who like 200 milligram of caffeine. There are those who don't like caffeine and they want stem-free product. And there are more categories like a sleep formula. Simon, I promise you we're going to have it this year. I promise you. I mean, probably give me, I hope 2-3 months. There are more categories in sports nutrition, and there are different sports. It's not just bodybuilding, it's powerlifting,
Yep.
it's fighting, it's running. I saw Sandeep asked, if Lionheart can be taken for running. Absolutely, because it's lower on stems, but it's created specifically for endurance. So you're gonna benefit tremendously from Lionheart for running, specifically with those ingredients. So I think that the market has so much potential. And to be honest with you, if I may be, 100% frank with you on this one, we have so many fucking brands, so many brands.
Yep.
But nevertheless, I would go and say 90% what you see on the market, and ingredients, supplements, it's pure shit. It's
Yep.
garbage. So products that actually do work, or they bring anything to the table, there's maybe 10%, maybe. So the market, in my opinion, they say it's very competitive. I actually disagree. I don't think it's that competitive at all. You have a lot of shit, and then when it comes to actually products that do work and make a difference, it's not that competitive. I mean, like I said to Jeff Long yesterday, I can name companies maybe like a Pro, Morphogen, Alpha Line is not bad. ASC is a little bit more on the hardcore side, but also at least, Jake does kind of, the right thing. Ninja is also a little bit on the hardcore side, but still the company, Brad and those guys, they're doing things right, in my opinion.
Yep.
NutraBio, even though, Mark and I don't see eye to eye, but I will not say that it's a bad brand. I think NutraBio is a very good brand. Then you have Jim Stepani. It's also a very good brand. So you have a few brands that are really doing things right.
Yep.
But again, I mean, I like our friend from Canada, obviously, Iron Brothers. I
Oh yeah,
think
of course.
I think Mark is a fantastic human being, and I like his line a lot. But that's pretty much more or less. I'm not saying that's it, because I'm not going to try and go with every company. But I named right now what, 5, 6, 7 companies. we can double it and say 15. But
Yeah.
I really feel like 15 to 20, we're going to struggle to name companies that are doing things right.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. So I'm very close with Brad of Ninja as well, and I found out you guys were gonna be there. I said, "Look, Brad, go over and say hi to Robik." Obviously, name drop me, and I was very honest. I said, "Listen, to get Robik's seal of approval on a product, because you guys have done some of the product reviews on Final Scoop, and for the most part, you have given him a very honest kind of thumbs up for the most part." And I told him that. I said, "Listen, I would not have you go over to anybody that I wouldn't trust in my life." And he called me last night. He said, "Look, me and Robik connected." He's like, "Man," he's like, "You spot on, super nice guy," and vice versa.
Yeah. Like I said, we had a conversation for a good 20, 25 minutes, and I can't say enough good things about him. What a great guy, very well spoken. He's a straight shooter from what I saw. And, we agreed that we're going to meet again. Hopefully he's going to be able to make it to the seminar this year.
Yeah,
I told him it's an open invitation for him. His sales director, Mark, became a good friend, even though we haven't seen each other yet. We only interacted through text messages a couple of times and a phone call. Great people, great products. They deserve the success that is coming their way. Like I said, I keep repeating it. I don't hate anyone. I
yeah,
don't come after me. Don't come after my loved ones. Don't come after things that I worked so hard for. And we are good. I mean, do whatever you want. Even if you have a shitty line, I'm not even going to mention it. Yes, if it comes up on the Final Scoop, or it's going to come up here and somebody's going to ask a question about a certain brand, I will speak my mind. But I'm not planning to attack anyone. And when I meet good people within the industry, I'll plug them. I'll promote their products. I'll use their products gladly.
yeah. So speaking of, how do you feel about some of the copycats that seem to be kind of maybe mimicking a little bit? Is it a form of flattery, or what are your thoughts?
You know what? I mean, the first time I saw people using the name Hooligan, just the name, obviously not the formula, it pissed me the fuck off. I was very, 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 very angry. Um, then I realized I think the first one was from Austria, if I'm not mistaken, and I actually ran into them at FIBA. I was pissed. I wanted to rip their heads off. I was like, oof. But then, I mean, there is literally nothing you can do. They overseas. What the fuck are you gonna do? You're gonna sue them or anything like that? The only thing you can do
Yeah,
is say, like, listen, they have hooligan, but their hooligan is nothing like the real deal. If anything, they're giving us more exposure and pointing sooner or later. They customers probably will see the real hooligan, because the real hooligan is way, way better. It's bigger. It's better known. So knock yourself out. In terms of like few formulas that I've seen out there, I don't know if it's worth mentioning the companies, because I think everybody knows at this point. Listen, somebody even once said to me like, "Oh, look, you saying that people are ripping you off, and you're just bitter about it." It's not about bitter. It's about the fact is that I work on a certain product. You don't use your imagination. You don't use your creativity. You don't use
yeah.
your you're not doing you're not doing research. You're just ripping off a product that is popular. And
We didn't say it.
yeah, Mitch could not hold it, but you actually went and you saw a successful product and you modified it slightly, or sometimes didn't even modify it, and you release it. And it's not only with Apollon, it's with other brands too. I mean, GNC just released a fucking product that it's pretty much Jim Stepani's product. I saw it yesterday. I mean, come on. It's pretty obvious that it looks very, very similar. And I do understand in a pre-workout there is only so much creativity that you can use. So I do
Yeah,
understand that a lot of products are very, very similar. But it's also painfully obvious when somebody is ripping another brand. It's just very, very obvious. Um, Again, there's nothing to prevent it. But if you are copying me and you profiting from something that I put together, that was my original idea, then what's wrong with me saying, look, Sean copied me because I'm
yeah,
the one who came up with it. So, by the way, I have the same product that came out earlier, possibly even better than that product. And my idea, my creativity are being ripped off. If you still want to buy from them, by all means, I can't prevent you from doing it. There is also no such thing as, holding to copyright when it comes to a formula. Anyone can, but if you have no decency and can copy somebody's brand, then why should that brand not point out to the fact that it's you who borrowed the idea from them and
Yeah.
kind of exploit that for their own benefit? So do I benefit from it? Yeah, absolutely. But that's the only thing I can do. I will point out, but at the same time, I am flattered. So there is no anger.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, look, I mean, again, it doesn't happen only with me. I don't want to say like, oh, look, I'm so special. They've been brands have been ripped off. I mean, even there's so many of them. I don't want to fucking give them attention right now. But the thing is that there are so many brands that have been ripped off unjustifiably. But if they can point out to that fact, then sure, why not? Do it. And at the end of the day, the consumer has a choice what product, what brand he wants to support and use. So make the right choice.
What do you think about crack? I'm sure people are reaching out to you about the new crack formula.
Uh, it's very, very difficult. It's very, very, very difficult, and I knew you're gonna fucking put me on a spot. But and I've been avoiding that question, and I've been avoiding that answer. I have spoken about dark labs as I don't know where they manufacture, and that's the truth. I mean, I don't know where most
Yeah.
um, where most companies manufacture. So I don't know. What I do know is that I did voice my opinion when they used to have DMA and stuff like that when the product was already banned. On the other hand, they're from Poland, so they can do
Mm.
whatever they want. They're not in the United States, And I was very, very aggressive, and I had Ari, my friend, who was very, very aggressive with what is that product? Fuck. Excelsior.
Oh yeah.
You know, I was very, and it's not because some people said it, I'm jealous. Yes, I am jealous of a prop blend of 4 or 5 grams versus Assassin or Hooligan with 20 plus grams of active ingredients in a fully transparent formula and a successful product. It's not about that. I was asked on the final scoop. I did voice my opinion. I don't know where it's manufactured. I don't know what's in it. I heard rumors, and I want to emphasize rumors because I don't have facts. I heard rumors that the product Excelsior was either spiked or whatnot. I don't know. I don't know. I've never used it. I would never use it. Not a chance. To me, that's fucking garbage and made just to rip people off. Um, I I do know about Dark Labs the following. I know the owner is apparently a nice guy. Lucas said he's a nice guy, and I do trust Lucas on that one. The owner I know spoke very, very favorably about Apollon. As far as I know, never said a bad thing about it. And I do
Hmm.
respect it despite my early criticism of it. Um, I know that he also helped our distributor in UK with shipments and stuff like that. He stepped up. So I can't really say anything negative about Dark Labs in terms of as people of honor and
Hmm.
people of decency. They clearly, whoever's behind the brand, I have no right to say anything bad about him because he was nothing but nice to me, my friends, and my brand. I saw the formula. Um, it seems like it would work. I haven't tried the product.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a stacked formula. All I can say is that I hope that they manufacturing it right. I hope that they there is no DMA in it. Clearly, they're trying to do better. And listen, I wish them also. I wish them luck. Like I said, Lucas said they're good people. I saw some actions from them that they don't make me doubt that they're good people. They trying to succeed in the industry, and
Mhm.
let's see what's next for them. I mean, I think that they in the right direction right now. Yeah, you see, and that's why I like Ari because Ari fucking hated Excelsior. You know what? And Ari will be the first one. That's another reason why I respect him so much. He will be the first one to say, I don't know ingredients as well as some experts. But he basically called him out, and as far as I know, he was the first one to call them out, and I respect him for that. I really, really respect the guy.
So a couple of quick ones, and we'll wind down here. So Mitch is asking, is double impact V3 a possibility this year?
No. The reason is because Double Impact was always a combination of Hooligan and Assassin. The Hooligan has just been reformulated, and Assassin is the final version has been formulated, but it has to be also put through trials and whatnot and find the proper schedule for the release, which is not in the next few months for sure. Not anytime soon. It might be before the end of the year, but don't quote me on that because I don't know. But the version is final once it's approved, once it's released, once there were a few months, on the shelf. We will combine Hooligan and Assassin once again, and we will release Double Impact V3. I just don't think that it's gonna be it's gonna be this year.
Any chance of bringing back the Assassin 6.5 FDN version?
Well, the only way to bring it back is probably 7.5 version. Again, TJ and I are good friends. We had good run with a 6.5, except the fact that it tasted like fucking ass. Not that I would know.
No comment.
Or would I? It's Jesus Christ. My daughter listens to this. Oh God. This is like that's that fucking pause where I'm super uncomfortable right now how to continue. 6.5 version was very, very popular. It was very popular, partially of course because of TJ and him being behind it, partially because it's Assassin. It was a great collaboration. I will say this: we are definitely gonna have another collaboration with TJ. It's pretty much a done deal.
Any distribution in Canada?
Alexander probably and Etienne are gonna be helping with this situation, but yeah, we definitely gonna work on it. Gonna devote more time to it because there is a lot of obviously demand from Canada. So the answer is there's definitely in our plans, and we'll definitely do it. We'll work on it 100%. We'll do our best.
Obviously, I don't know the complete litigations, but I would think you'd probably have to neuter down a lot of the products because I think there's like caffeine tolerance and
Yes.
citrulline. Mark Burton tells me all this craziness.
Well, that's the main problem. You know what? I mean, that's the problem that we ran when it came to Russia as well. There are different regulations in different countries. So people are obviously smuggling, so to speak, the original products to Canada, to Australia, to Belgium or whatever. Every corner of the world, you can see our products. If we're going to bring it officially, and if that country has very, very strict regulations, obviously not because we want to save money, but because we don't have a choice, we're going to have to, I hate the word, but we're going to have to water it down as much as possible. If we water it down, the same very consumer in Canada is going to be saying Apollon is cheating us.
Yeah.
So we have to find that balance, and that is not easy. I had this conversation with Alexander. I had this conversation with Lucas. They obviously way more knowledgeable than I am. Obviously, as Lucas calls him, Uncle Etienne. I talked to him as well. It's not easy task because you basically have a choice now. Either you smuggling, fuck, I'm saying it on the live show. You're either smuggling illegal substances or overdosed substances to places where it's not allowed, through obviously channels that are not exactly legal, or you actually work on the best possible formulas for that country. But the best possible formula for that country can be probably something like C4,
Yeah.
and do you want Apollon name on a C4 formula? And I'm not this is not a knock on Salicor whatsoever, so I don't want anyone to misunderstand what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
just that they have their way of doing business, and they are very successful nevertheless, and they do things the way they do things, but there are certain expectations from Apollon, and being like Cellucor, what's the point of having a pawn in Canada that is competing with Cellucor? I mean, we're going to get squashed. And not only
Yeah.
will we get squashed, we're also going to lose respect. So we will do our best. It just, like I said, it will take probably some time.
And of course, Sandeep, who's a very close friend of ours, coming to India because I don't know if you see, he posts, he buys all the supplements from NutriBio, which again, great brand, but needs to get the real deal.
No, no, I understand. And Sandeep's been a great, great, great supporter. I would even go as far as saying as a friend because he's always supporting Apollon. He's been very, very vocal, very, very nice guy. Um, and I've been saying it to him for a while. I mean, if we get the right partner from India, somebody who wants, who can guide us and teach us and help us, we had a lot of requests from India, but so far not the right kind of people that can make it happen. If we get somebody who can make it happen, please, by all means, contact me, contact Sandeep for all I care, contact Sean, we'll get the message. We'll be more than happy to. So yeah, it's not something like we against. We actually for it, but hopefully it's going to happen.
We have a flavor request here. I need to request a vanilla ice cream flavored stimulant powder to mix with my root beer bare knuckle.
Fuck you, John. Making my life complicated. It actually sounds pretty good. Okay, yeah, John, just send me a message. I can always. What I can promise is that I can talk to our manufacturer. We can always request a sample. We can test it out. If it's we usually do it, inside the gym, with members, and they test it out. And sure, yeah, I'm open to it. Why not? Thanks, John.
And I don't like to give a lot of shout outs, but I want to give a shout out to David Fredrickson, who you and I both know. He's an awesome reviewer, love the guy to death, and he's got his spin on everything, smart as can be. And like Ari, looks like $1,000,000.
Oh, he looks incredible. I mean, he's very, very knowledgeable. And I hope he doesn't mind me saying, I try to plug him as much as I can, not because awesome reviews to Apollon line. Like, listen, this might come out arrogant and cocky, and I couldn't give a shit, but Apollon products are awesome. If you're going to say that Hooligan or Assassin, perhaps not the greatest tasting products, I don't have a problem with that because it's true. But the fact that we fully load, we manufacture properly, and we're making kick-ass great products, it's a fact. So yes, David gives us pretty good reviews. I think one review that was a little bit maybe slightly off, and me and him talked about it was Black Tulip, I believe, but I had absolutely no problem with that. Ari gave an average review to Hooligan, but Ari probably was drunk or something.
Well, it's also Assassin. He didn't give a good review to Assassin because he double scooped it when he only should have took one scoop or half a scoop. I think it was Assassin.
I think Ari is on Assassin fucking double scoop on a daily basis. That's just Ari. That I don't even expect anything less from him. Or maybe by mistake he took Excelsior. No, but honestly, David is just I respect him so much. He's a great guy. I think the review that he did for Hooligan might be my favorite review because he absolutely fucking nailed it. I mean, he even fucking mentioned things that I didn't even think about. He did such a great job. It's not that he was giving it props. He actually broke down how it works and how it is and what it does and how and why it does it. And he actually outlined some of the things that I didn't even think about it. I mean, that review, seriously, Sean, when you get a chance, if you didn't watch it, watch his Hooligan review. It's absolutely outstanding. Might be one of my favorite reviews. And yeah, both David and Ari, I call them friends now, and rightfully so.
Yeah, David, I did see because he said now because I remember him saying the name. He's like, you feel like you just want to be like just dirty and get in the gym and fuck shit up pretty much. I'm paraphrasing with the name Hooligan. You just want to be kind of on edge and dirty.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what? People like some that keep on pointing. I don't know for what reason. The 600 milligram of caffeine. Again, they keep on fucking missing the point. It's 450 milligram of caffeine anhydrous and 150 delayed release. It's not 600 of just anhydrous that hits you in the face. It's still high. I fully understand. It is high. It's not for everybody, but those that can appreciate it, and also don't forget, it doesn't have nothing else. I mean, it has theobromine, which is also a stimulant, a milder version, and
Yeah.
that's why it hits a little bit faster than the previous Hooligan. But other than that, there is no DMHA, there is no alpha yohimbe, there is none of that. It's the other ingredients that you should be paying attention to because there is more than the previous version. So the product does more. And, like that, we did raise the bar a little bit. But, as TJ also put it, it's pretty much the same assassin as the previous version, just
Mhm.
a little bit better. We kind of like stuck to our guns. That's the reason why I absolutely love David's review.
My friend, as things wind down, is there anything we haven't touched that you want to get off your chest?
Phew, um, mm,
We covered a lot today.
we covered pretty much everything. I mean, if you want to ask something, or one of the people here want to ask, maybe we missed a question or something like that, we can scroll up. I'll be more than happy to answer.
So Davidson Hooligan is my good to go. One of my favorite hitters. Apollon makes the hitters for those that want to straight out crush it in the gym. Badass formulas, and that's a no-brainer.
Thank you, David. Really, really appreciate you. And like I said, I think that, guys, if you're not subscribed to it, it's not a plug. We don't do any business or anything like that. Definitely watch his reviews. The guy is on point. I mean, I've seen some of the reviews he does for other products, and I mean, some of them that I tried. He's really, really knowledgeable, and he does it in a very laid back fashion.
And then Mitch Branch Warren's Hooligan flavor is by far my favorite.
Yeah, that flavor we're gonna release again, I believe, in over the top. I think no, hold on. Shit, I'm giving away information. Fuck.
Careful,
Uh
think for a minute.
yeah, in Lionheart. It's gonna come out, I think, in Lionheart, yes.
Is that one still surprising you on sales? I know last time we spoke, I think you said you were surprised by the sales on that a little bit.
I think the Branch Warren pre-workout actually didn't do initially as well as as I as we expected that it's gonna do. Um, I think the main thing was the flavor, believe it or not. People did not know what the flavor is because it's called uh, what the fuck is it called? Fuck, that's
What's the good?
embarrassing. That's embarrassing. So anyway, that people didn't painkiller. Yeah, painkiller. Sorry, I'm blacked out. People did not know what painkiller is, and rightfully so, because I didn't know it either. But it's actually a name of a cocktail. It's basically like pina colada with orange. That's all it is. But when people, those that actually care about flavors and they want to do something like that, Carolina just sent me a text message, painkiller. I'm fucked. Because this is embarrassing.
You
Uh,
put the right person in charge.
I started sweating. Uh, yeah, painkiller. So I think we failed to illustrate what the flavor is. Once people tried it, like Mitch immediately said what a great flavor it is. Once we started, I think our guys on not on social media, on our website, they actually emphasize what kind of fruit, what it is. Once people understood what it is, once they tried it, yes, the flavor became very popular and sold out. And it prompted us to release it in other products as well.
So you got everybody chiming in here knowing what the painkiller is. Go figure. Everybody else except the
Fuck.
creator or the owner of the company.
This is gonna be a running joke right now. This is Sean. It's your fault. No, it's Mitch's fault. Fuck Mitch.
So the question I've got to put in here: any thoughts about returning to the ring?
Uh,
The cage.
I'm old. I'm very, very, very old.
So
But the idea was actually to possibly do something in Russia when I was supposed to go there in April, but apparently Putin had other plans, so he kind of like made me change my mind. But I would do something for sure. I mean, when we filmed the commercial for Lionheart, I actually felt like I can still move. I can still do something. I think my cardio is probably shit. I would need to work on that, but there is always shameless plug Lionheart for that. I would put it this way. I would definitely consider it under the right circumstances. I do plan to go to Thailand if schedule permits, and we don't have any surprises with COVID and regulations and restrictions and all that. I do plan to go. If it works out, if there is a possibility to do something like actually for maybe charity, to contribute, but to collect more money for Ukraine, if somebody steps up, maybe old and and terrible that I can beat an easy fight, I would probably do it. So Mark Lobliner take a fight. Uh,
Thinking the same thing.
yeah, I'm kidding. I mean, Mark is dangerous. But
What about Mark? What about Mark from NutraBio? He's got a 6th-degree black belt, doesn't he? Or 18th degree black belt?
oh God, Mark can probably put it like a blindfold, like in fucking Bloodsport, that fucking belt, and whoop my ass. Mark, see, every Jewish guy with a name Mark is dangerous. But I honestly, I would do it. Honestly, like even if somebody from the industry, obviously somebody who can handle himself in the ring and stuff like that, if somebody would want to do it and somebody would want to organize it for charity, but I think Mark Lobliner and Mark Glazier are more suited to fight Carolina than me. I think it's a little bit more fair fight. I still think that they would get their ass whooped, but yeah, in all seriousness, yeah, I would definitely do it. It's actually something would be cool.
Are you sucking up to Kate because she's going to give it to you after the show's over?
Oh yeah, I'm fucked. Yeah, this is the most embarrassing live fucking thing. The next one we do should not be live.
Oh man. Well, my friend, I think we've exhausted everything. As always, it's been a pleasure.
I
I want to thank everybody for the questions coming behind the scenes, everybody sharing this on Instagram, subscribing to me, standing behind Apollon and Robik, and everybody contributing to the questions today. Really appreciative.
Yeah, thank you guys. I mean, again, I can't stress enough. Thank you everybody who has reached out. Obviously, whoever I see here, everybody, Jojo, Adrian's been amazing. I only met him once. At Apollon Gym, and he's been an incredible guy. Mitch has been absolutely amazing. Lucas, I can't say enough good things about what a great friend he is and how supportive he is. All these, all of you guys, it means a lot to me. Thank you so much, and I cherish these friendships, and in terms of Apollon, I mean, we're going to continue to put out great products. That goes without saying, and I'm not saying it just because I'm saying it, because it is true. I will definitely return anytime that Sean asks me to do a podcast, because you've been an incredible friend, and God, I know that you won't be able to make it to the All-Star Seminar, which is,
I
uh,
know.
yeah, that's but family comes first, and I do fully understand. I still believe and hope that I'm going to see you before the end of the year. And a huge shout out to Bethany. Actually, Bethany is she's from our team, and that's the girl that had cancer, the one that we did video with, which was very, very inspirational. And thank you everybody, guys. I really appreciate all the support, all the love. To those that don't like me, go fuck yourselves. I really don't care. Other than that, thank you.
And I don't know if Jess is watching this, but I just want to say, I've already told her this behind the scenes, but I want to say thank you to Jess for allowing me to kind of bother her daily, every other day, kind of giving me updates on you. And it means a lot.
Yeah, no, Jess actually told me, she goes to me, yeah, Sean's been texting me, he's been messaging me, and I was, I mean, but you know what, Sean, when it comes to, it's kind of expected, because that's just the type of person you are. You've been always very, very honest, and always great guy, great friend, somebody I absolutely love making fun of. That's like, I'm a little bit rusty, but I promise I'm going to step it up, and God, I'm going to come down on you like a thunder. But yeah, Simon, of course, amazing guy as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. And like I said, I'm definitely gonna come back whenever you want me to be too. And that's it.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.